everyone, my name is Larissa and today we will be reviewing AICE International History Chapter 4.3. Let's get right into it. Chapter 4.3 is about why did the Chinese Communist Party, also known as the CCP, gain support up to 1945, and the results of Chapter 4.3 is about why did the Chinese Communist Party, also known as the CCP, gain support up to 1945. First, let's go over the results of the Long March and the leadership of Mao Zedong. By 1936, following the completion of the Long March, the Chinese Communist Party had established a secure base in the Shanghai province, Shanxi? Province, allowing it to recover from earlier defeats and begin rebuilding its strength. Although the Long March had been a retreat that resulted in the loss of a large proportion of the Red Army, Mao Zedong successfully transformed it into a powerful symbol of courage and resilience through propaganda. Under his direction, the marchers were portrayed as heroes and martyrs, willing to sacrifice themselves for the future of China. This propaganda played a crucial role in gaining the respect and support of the Chinese population, particularly the peasants, who were becoming increasingly important to the growth of the CCP. Mao understood that China's largely rural population meant that any successful revolution would need to be driven by peasants rather than the urban working class, which was relatively small at the time. As a result, he focused on winning the support of peasants by ensuring that the CCP soldiers treated them with respect and did not harm their livelihoods. After establishing a base in Yan'an, the CCP created what became known as the Yan'an Soviet, where Mao implemented policies designed to improve the lives of ordinary people. CCP members lived and worked amongst peasants, helping them farm and providing basic services such as healthcare and education. These measures significantly increased the support of the CCP, as they directly addressed the needs of the population. One of the most important policies was land reform, which involved confiscating land from the wealthy landlords and redistributing it into poor peasants. This gave many people access to land for the first time and helped to secure the loyalty to the CCP. The CCP also made effective use of propaganda to present life in Yan'an as an ideal system that benefited ordinary people. Foreign visitors, including journalists and medical workers, often reported positively on what they saw, further enhancing the CCP's reputation. However, not everything was as positive as it appeared. The CCP carefully controlled what outsiders were allowed to see, hiding the more violent aspects of land redistribution and the strict control exercised by Mao over the party. Mao continued to strengthen his authority through the ratification movement between 1941 and 1944. Initially presented as a campaign to improve party unity and understanding of communist ideas, it soon became a method of eliminating opposition. Members of the CCP were required to study Mao's writings and were encouraged to criticize the party, but those who disagreed too strongly were accused of disloyalty, arrested, or punished. This campaign allowed Mao to remove rivals and establish himself as the undisputed leader of the CCP. At the same time, the CCP continued to expand its influence beyond Yan'an through what Mao described as an organization phase. That's a weird name. Sending members into rural areas to spread its ideas and build support. This strategy aimed to gradually surround the cities, which were controlled by the Kuomintang, by gaining control of the countryside. Support for the CCP was not limited to peasants. Some workers and small business owners were attracted to the promises of reform and its opposition to the KMT government. Let's go over the impact of war with Japan after 1937. Japan had already taken control of Manchuria in 1931 and continued to expand its influence in northern China. When war began in 1937, Chiang Kai-shek's nationalist government led to main resistance against the Japanese. However, despite their efforts, the KMT forces were unable to prevent rapid Japanese advances, and major cities quickly fell. The government was forced to retreat inland, leaving large parts of China exposed to Japanese occupation and atrocities. The inability of the KMT to effectively defend China was exploited by the CCP. Although the Red Army played only a limited role in directing fighting, CCP propaganda portrayed it as a key force in resisting Japanese aggression. By presenting itself as the true defender of China, the CCP was able to attract greater support, particularly from those who were disillusioned with the nationalist government. At the same time, support for Chiang Kai-shek and the Kuomintang was declining. Many of the reforms promised by the KMT had neither been implemented or had little impact on the lives of ordinary people. Peasants in particular saw little improvement in their conditions, as land redistribution did not occur and land ownership remained concentrated in the hands of wealthy landlords. Industrial workers also continued to face poor working conditions, as labor reforms were not effectively enforced. The KMT's government was increasingly viewed as corrupt and focused on protecting the interests of wealthy elites, including businessmen and landowners. Its involvement in the opium trade further damaged its reputation, as it appeared to profit from activities it claimed to oppose. At the same time, Chiang's government became even more authoritarian, introducing censorship and limiting civil liberties. Critics were silenced and political opposition was very suppressed. Chiang also introduced the New Life movement, which aimed to promote traditional values such as discipline and loyalty. However, this movement was often seen as an attempt to strengthen his own control rather than genuinely improving society. The emphasis on obedience and order reflected a more authoritarian style of leadership, similar to what was seen in some European regimes at the time. As a result of these factors, the KMT's popularity continued to decline throughout the 1930s. Its failure to protect China from Japanese aggression, combined with its inability to deliver meaningful reform, made it increasingly unpopular with large sections of the population. In contrast, the CCP's focus on peasants, effective use of propaganda, and image as a patriotic and reformist force allowed it to gain growing support. By 1945, when Japan was defeated in the Second World War and withdrew from China, the CCP was in a much stronger position than it had been in the early 1930s. It had survived repeated attempts to destroy it, it expanded its influence across large areas of the countryside, it had established itself as a credible alternative to the Kuomintang. China, however, remained deeply divided, and the growing rivalry between the CCP and the KMT would soon lead to a renewed civil war that would determine the future of the whole of China. Thank you for watching. This concludes our summary of Chapter 4.3 for AICE International History. I wish you the best of luck with all your studies. Bye-bye.